All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waharakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out here toiling in this truth. And Shalom to the few sisters, the Akwathium, that listen and learn in silence. To all of you, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Pathaka Mouth GMS Dallas, and I'm just coming back at you with a really quick hit lesson. I'm going to entitle this one, Israel's warfare is accomplished. Israel's warfare is accomplished means that all our troubles, our tribulations, the ass whoopings, everything that's been happening to our nation, being under the curses, everything is accomplished, man. We're at the end of it, and all those things played out within this man's kingdom, man, in this captivity that we've been in under these devils, man, under Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. Those things all played out underneath these devils, man. The Lord gave the earth into his hand, pursuant to Job 9:24, and gave us into his hands, pursuant to Isaiah the 47th chapter, man. And they had no mercy on the ancient of our nation. They didn't have any mercy on anything of our nation, even the children, the elderly, whatever. They showed no mercy, which that's why in James, the 2nd chapter in verse 13, for he that showed no mercy, roughly paraphrasing, let me get it. I don't want to jack it up, so I'm gonna just get it real quick. James 2 and verse 13, it says, for he shall have judgment without mercy that hath showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. So this devil has showed no mercy, so he's not going to receive any mercy. It tells you that when you read in the Zondovan's Compact Dictionary, and the Young's as well, it tells you that they're the only neighboring city of the Israelites, basically roughly paraphrasing, prophesied to not receive judgment or any salaki, not judgment, look at Satan, not to receive any mercy from the Lord, man. So there it is, man. They're through. But at the end of the day, Israel's warfare is accomplished. Israel's warfare is accomplished. That's why it says in the Apocrypha, because the scriptures tell you, I'm trying to remember how it's worded exactly, Salakia. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, roughly paraphrasing, So the end of something is better than the beginning, And in this case, Israel's warfare is ended. So that ending, is better than the beginning. Because, hey, when we first came into this, man, it's been a long road, man. It's been a long road, man. You know what I'm saying? To get to where we are now, man. You know what I'm saying? Which the remnant is returning in these times. And everything is changing, man, which goes back to Deuteronomy 28, the 28th chapter, when the Lord said in the first 14 verses, if we hearken to his word, that he would bless us and everything would work for us, and he put us above these nations and everything would be beautiful. But if we didn't, when you read from verse 15 to 68, if we didn't hearken to his voice to do his commandments that he commanded us this day, that he was going to basically put all these curses upon us and destroy us, man. And we were hard-headed, stiff-necked, uncircumcised people, man. Which the scriptures say that many times in the scriptures, that Jake is hard-headed, they're stiff-necked. You know what I'm saying? So, we had to get the latter of that. We got the 15 through 68. But now, with the water for the remnant of our nation, the remnant that's returning in these times, our nation actually has a chance, man, because the remnant is striving to get it right. They're hearkening to the voice of the Lord. So we're in a time of receiving 1 through 14, man. You know what I'm saying? Which represents the kingdom of heaven. 1 through 14 represents the kingdom of heaven. 15 through 68 represents hell. It's not talking about a place that you go to burn, and heaven is, even though there is a spirit realm, it's not talking about some place you go to float around for eternity. No, man. In and out the earth. We've been coming in and out the earth. You know what I'm saying? Every third to fourth generation, pursuant to the scriptures. You know, so if you deal with the scriptures, with the Bible, the word of God, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, then you get proper understanding of what's going on. Christianity has jacked everything up. But I don't want to go on no rant, and I don't want to get too off course. So we're going to get back on course. Israel's warfare is accomplished. You know, so real quick, let's get it. I just want to make this too long. So let's get real quick. Spirit jumped on me. And this is Isaiah 40 and verse 1. It says, comfort ye, my people, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her. Let her warfare, Salakia, that her warfare is accomplished. There it is. Our warfare is accomplished. The Israelites, man, that's the people of the Lord. You know, Isaiah 44 and 1, man. It says that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. So the Israelites received double of the Lord's hand, man, for our iniquity. That's why all these things happened, you know, to us at the hand of these devils, man, who is the Lord's sword, pursuant to Psalms, the 17th chapter and verse 13. So, but it's accomplished, man. It's over, man. And we received a double of the Lord's hands. What the hell you think you heathen, you devils are going to receive, man? Are you going to walk away and get away scot-free? You know? Hell no, bro. So real quick, let's go to Jeremiah, the 49th chapter, and let's read it. As a matter of fact, verse 7, you see it right there in the heading. It says prophecy against Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. So it's concerning Edom. You see it right there in the 7th verse, concerning Edom. So let's drop down so we know who this is talking about. This is Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. It says, For thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, and the cup represents slavery, death, destruction, double straits. There's nothing good in the cup, man. You know, that warfare that we're at the end of now. It's contained in the cup, man. So every time you hear that cup, that's what it's talking about. You know, a bunch of death and desolation and just, man, the cup is not good. So it says, Jeremiah 49 and 12, for thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. Why? Because of our iniquity. We went off, man. So the Lord had to judge us, punish us, man. But we drank of that cup. And we're his chosen people. How much for you, all you other nations, man? Especially you Edomites, bro. It says, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Yeah, you gonna walk away, Edom? You're gonna walk into the sunset. You know, you got Jake trying to save these devils in these times, man. Talking about they gonna receive salvation and new bodies and all kind of madness, bro. You know, through. No, man, we reading it right here. And art thou, because you saw in the heading, and in the first verse, talking about concerning Edom. Or thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Yeah, you Edomites going to go unpunished? The Lord is about to answer that question. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So you're going to drink of that same cup that those who were not supposed to drink of, that drank of it, y'all going to go through it too, man. You know? So how much more for you? That's what's coming. So it's your turn, Esau. It's your turn, man. As a matter of fact, that reminds me of Lamentations. Let's get Lamentations real quick. Lamentations, the 4th chapter, and verse 21. Let's read 21 and 22. Lamentations 4 and 21. It says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. There it is. That dwellest in the land of Uz, which Uz represents America in these times. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Did you hear that? The cup shall also pass through unto thee. So you're going to drink of that same cup, man. You know, it says, thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked, which all of those things are happening. We're in the process of that right now, man. They're shameful spewing on these devils' glory. You know, he's totally exposed in these times. Everything they do, the Lord is showing it up by way of the prophets, man. You know. Verse 22, it says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, And Zion is a Hebrew word to Zion in the Hebrew that means a monument, thing remembered. And the Most High said he was going to remember his people. He wasn't going to forget his people, man. So it says the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. That's that warfare. The warfare of the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, and the scattered seed, that may not come looking like the typical Israelite, but they have the spirit of an Israelite, which is what you're supposed to judge, not the look, uh, the elect of those, the warfare is accomplished, man. It's done. The iniquity is accomplished. We had to pay for that. That's that warfare we had to go through at the hand of these devils, man. But now it's their turn. We just read it in verse 21. That cup is about to pass through to them. The Lord is just, man. He's fair. You ain't gonna put your hands on his people and him not let them get that back, man. So you devils put your hands on the apple of the Most High's eye. Now he's gonna give you to them. So it says, verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity, proving what that cup contains, man. In verse 21, you going into slavery, man. Slavery is coming to you devils, man. It said, he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. And the scriptures say that your sins have stacked into the heavens, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot to pay for, bro. And you're going to pay double. You're going to pay double. The scriptures say that. Revelations 18:6. Reward her double. Unto her double the cup she filled to her double. Roughly paraphrasing. So it says, he will discover thy sins. So it's your turn. You Edomites, it's your turn. Now, seeing that the warfare of Israel is accomplished, that iniquity of Zion is accomplished, now we got good things coming to us, man. We went through the bad, which we were supposed to go through both. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, in verse 1. Deuteronomy 30:1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. See, it was set up to go through both, man. We had to go through. Now it's your turn. You're gonna go. We went through the curse. Now we're about to receive the blessings. You went through the blessings. You've been that golden cup in the Lord's hand. You received good. You had the fatness of the earth and the dew from heaven. Genesis, the 27th chapter. Now it's our turn. When you read up, the same thing was given to Jacob. Yours was just temporary because your forefather Esau cried. And that's why Hebrews, the 11th chapter, I believe it is, around verse 20, it says that, and Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning these things to come. Because there were two blessings given. So you had your temporary carnal blessing where you were going to rule with this by the sword. You did that, Now it's over. Now the warfare of Israel is accomplished, man. That iniquity is accomplished. So now it's your turn. So we were set up to go through both. So I'll finish the verse out. It says, I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 30:1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, power hath driven thee. And these things have come to our mind. We realize these things now in these captivities. And all over the planet Earth where Jake is, that are waking up, that's been called, you know what I'm saying? They're coming to this understanding. They're realizing that, So, hey, all the prophecies are coming to pass, man. And also, when you jump, let's read verse 7. Let's jump down to verse 7. This is part of that turning of thing. The Lord is turning things. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, and the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So there it is, man. So everything is flipping. That movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, Trading Places. That's what's happening, man. Everything is flipping. We went through one, you went through the other. Now everything is flipping. You're about to go through the other, and we're finna go through. So we're trading places, just like that movie, man. We're trading places. These are the times that we're in, man. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the warfare of Israel is accomplished, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why these things are happening, man. You had your little temporary blessing, you know. Now it's the eternal kingdom is on it. That's why the scripture saying in 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See, Israel's warfare is accomplished. The end of your world. The end of a thing than the beginning thereof. See, now Jacob is the beginning of that which followeth. That's your beginning, bruh. And y'all got a long ass road ahead of y'all, man. So yeah, it's like that. So, but like I said, the Lord is about to give Jake, the Israelites, everything. It's going to get beautiful for us now. You know, winter times of the nation of Israel being beautified. But let's get this in Jeremiah 29. It's Jeremiah 29 and verse 11. It says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith Yahweh Shemel Shai, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Yeah, we went through that evil already, man. You know what I'm saying? Now he's them thoughts of peace, man. You know? And that expected end, man. You know what I'm saying? Which, what is that expected end? Let's get that and bring this lesson to a close. Like I said, I want it to be a quick hit, not nothing too long. This is Luke, the 12th chapter. And we're going to jump down to verse 32. Red letters, Yahweh Shai speaking. Luke 12 and 32. "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." That's that expected end. Why? Because Israel's warfare is accomplished. You know, so with that, hopefully this was edifying to the hopeful elect, which I hope to be a part of. Abra Sabba Kashah. Giving all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahar Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone. And peace and blessings to the elect, the house of David, the Bayath Shah Dawadah Shalom.